Benny's adventure team, assemble! Oh. 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 Or not.
Ready to enjoy more chicken joyous moments?
そんなことある？だって
So strong it could take an army to deal with them. It's generally said that big
Benny's
class
adventure-
monsters are the strongest that a small party can handle on their own. Monsters have better stats than humans. In order to make up for it, we polish our skills, gather companions, and use all of our combined wits to cooperate. That's how you win against an opponent with higher stats. But that approach is only viable against monsters that are B class and below. A-class monsters are a different story entirely. Aside from their naturally high stats, they have a superior range of skills. Skills are human beings' biggest advantage, and these monsters can use them just as proficiently. Some individuals even have skills specific to monsters, making them especially troublesome to deal with. A good example of an A-class monster? A high-level worm. Like the one that was likely Faye's parent, which attacked the academy. Faye is technically classified as a high-level worm, too, but since being a reincarnation seems to have given her an extra edge, she's probably closer in power to a dragon. If we'd been on land, Faye might have even been able to beat the water dragon that attacked us before. What's the difference in time between the shortest route and the safer, longer one? Let's see. At our current pace, I'd say about 4 days. That's more than I expected. It must be a pretty big detour. And what's the last route you mentioned? Right. About that. For some reason, Marsgard hesitates. As I wait expectantly, he scratches his head and looks uncomfortable. To be honest, I'd rather not go that way. That's certainly very honest. Is there a reason? The nightmare. I beg your pardon? That area used to be the nightmare's territory. Most guides don't like to go near the place. It's bad luck. Especially since I've seen the thing in my own lives. I don't like to be near it if I can help it. The nightmare. That's the legendary class monster you mentioned before, right? But isn't that thing supposed to be dead already?
Take flight!
Incidentally, is that route fast, or? It's only a little longer than the shortest route. Please, I think the shortest one should be faster. Probably only a difference of a day or so, if that. There's the dangerous short route, the safe but lengthy roundabout route, and the somewhat ambiguous route. But the nightmare is gone already, isn't it? Yeah, the nightmare itself is. What do you mean? I tilt my head. That makes it sound like there's something else there. We call it a nightmare's vestige. A nightmare's vestige. Yeah, a monster that looks a lot like the nightmare. It's been seen all over the upper strata, but most often in the route I mentioned before. Is it a particularly strong monster? Oh, it's strong. And troublesome, too. If Barsgard says so, it must be pretty serious. I definitely prefer not to run into anything like that. However, it has the same strange quirks as the nightmare. If you don't attack it, it won't do you any harm. If you do encounter a nightmare's vestige, it's best to do nothing and just wait for it to pass. What in the world? I can't hide my amazement. Can you really call it a monster if it has such unusual habits?
Take flight!
If you ask me, a monster is supposed to be something that blindly attacks whatever it sees. There's one more thing. It strings up invisible thread all over the place. If ye cut it or whatnot, it'll attack ye. Thread? Yup. I guess I didn't mention that, huh? The nightmare is a spider monster. Same for the nightmare's vestiges. Spiders, huh? The thread is almost impossible to see, not to mention sticky and tough, which makes it hard to get through if you're caught in it. On top of that, the monster itself is too strong by far. In the old days, when you saw a spiderweb, you just burned it. But since this nightmare's vestige appeared, if ye see a spiderweb, you just run away. It's the worst monster in the whole upper stratum. What a dangerous monster. It's that strong and using such nasty thread, too. It almost sounds like a monster with the cleverness of a human. We'd better not go that route, I'd say. Prince, who'd been listening to our exchange in silence, speaks up now. I went with Julius and the rest of the party to take down a nightmare's vestige once. We managed to scrape out a victory somehow, but it was pretty damn close. Better to avoid it if we can. Even Julius and his party had a hard time with this thing. Yeah, I guess I'd rather not encounter that.
Gotcha.
That eliminates that route, then.
Let me lead you a
Now
first.
it's down to the
my
shortest
sword.
route and the
Rain
roundabout
outlines
route. Alright, everyone. You have to choose between a fast but dangerous route or a safe but lengthy route. Can I get your opinions? I address the other members of the party as they rest up. My heart wants to choose the shortest route. Even if we do have a little time to spare, the sooner we get to the elf village, the better. But it would be even tougher on Anna, who's already having a hard time, making it difficult for me to decide.
Rain outlines your
I think
fate.
we should pick the shortest route. Ms. Oka speaks first. I've already seen how powerful our teacher is. To be honest, I never expected her to be able to knock Hugo out completely like that. In terms of magic ability alone, she's probably even stronger than
Here
I am.
comes the catch.
Katia seems like she wants to
Witness the
agree.
power of Gugwa.
Won't it be dangerous?
Know my
though?
sword.
If more than one
Grey
A-class
cloud
monster
confirmed.
shows up at once,
Skyward.
even we might have trouble dealing with them. Ah, I wouldn't worry about that, Varsgad informs her. A-class monsters almost never run with others. If we do happen to encounter one, it'll be alone. Well then, I'm sure we can handle it. Katia nods confidently.
Rain cutter.
Since we grew up together,
Rain
I
outlines your
understand
fate.
Katia
Know
very
my
well.
skyward.
I know she has the ability to back up those words.
Make way for the.
I guess I vote for the shortest route, too. Monsters are no big deal for us. Faye votes for the shortest route, too. She seems almost too optimistic, but I guess she can get away
Here
with
comes the
it, given
catch.
how powerful she is. Faye is the strongest of our group, after all.
Witness the
I
power
don't
of
know.
Gugwa.
I don't think it's wise to take unnecessary risks. Prince votes for the safer route. He probably values our safety even more than the continued existence of the elf village. Now it's 3-1. Since Varsgad is remaining neutral, that leaves Anna and me. Half the group is already pushing for the shortest route, but I want to hear Anna's opinion, too. What do you think we should do, Anna? Please, there's no need to concern yourself with my opinion. No, I want to. You're a member of the group, too. Go on, tell us what you think. I press her a little insistently. Anna hesitates at first, thinks for a moment, then appears to reach some kind of conclusion. Let us take the shortest route, then. Are you sure? What I actually mean is, will you be all right? Will you be able to keep up? Absolutely. Her response is firm. Then there's nothing else I need to say. The short route it is, then. Knowing the danger, we've decided to push forward nonetheless. Chapter 4: A Brush with Death. I thought I'd teleported to safety, only to find an ambush waiting for me. This must be Mother's work. An army of spiders just coincidentally hanging around in the exact place where my home used to be is about as likely as a meteor hitting me square in the face. It can't be a chance happening, right? What's really scary is that considering how bad my luck has been so far, it wouldn't surprise me that much if it were. Still, I think it's much more likely that Mother predicted I would teleport here and sent her forces to wait for me in advance. I guess I might have underestimated her a little. In terms of brains, not brawn. With Mother's huge body, there's no way she could have chased me down while I was running around in the narrow passages of the Great Elro Labyrinth. All she had to do was wait for me to come out. She must have predicted everything I was going to do. Otherwise, she could never have arranged things to such perfection. When I left the labyrinth, she came out to chase me down personally. If she'd finished me off there, that would have been that. Her sheer speed is higher than mine, meaning the only way I can outrun her is with long-distance teleport. And where else would I go but back to the Great Elro Labyrinth? Specifically, the most likely place I'd flee to first is the spot where my home used to be. Sending an army there would be an easy way to catch me defenseless as soon as I arrived. In short, that's the current situation. I went from using teleport to kill those arch-Taratects to having it used against me. I'm screwed. I can't even react in time to dodge the arch-Taratect fangs flying at my face. Here are the facts. I let my guard down as soon as teleport activated, then I totally froze up for a second the instant I realized that I was surrounded by a spider army, and the wounds Mother inflicted on me delayed my reaction speed. All those factors combined prevent me from dodging. The archer's huge fangs bite into my tiny body. They don't break through. I might not look it, but my defense stat is over 2000. I haven't appraised the arch-Taratect that's chomping on me, which means I don't know for sure, but if it's similar to the ones I fought before, its attack is probably over 4000. It's probably using mental warfare and magic warfare to buff that, too, but its skill levels probably aren't as high as mine. Even if it does break through my body and bite off a chunk, it won't be the end of the world. Still, the damage would be huge. And that's in addition to the severe damage Mother's already inflicted on me. My injuries are so bad that without pain super mitigation, I probably would have passed out by now. On top of all that, I can feel something seeping into my body from those fangs. I know exactly what it is, since I have the same move. Poison attack. Deadly poison, to be precise. Even with my high resistance, I can't nullify it completely. I have to get away from these fangs soon, or I'll succumb to the poison seeping into my body and die. That is, if the raw damage doesn't kill me first. In the midst of the biggest pinch of my life, I become strangely calm and quickly start activating some magic. Specifically, earth magic. An earthen spear bursts out of the ground and smashes into the archer's head. I'm not expecting it to do much damage. All I want is for the impact to loosen the jaws clamped down on my body. Just as I hoped, the attack makes the arch-Taratect stumble, loosening its grip for just a moment. I seize the chance to hit the arch in the face with more magic and escape from its claws. To my surprise, the attack seems to have weakened the arch more than I thought. I guess it doesn't have dragon scales or anything like that to ward off magic. That skill is what's prevented me from doing major damage to a dragon with a single attack in the past, but I guess without it, even stats equal to a dragon's won't protect an arch-Taratect from a big hit. That's only the defense side of things, though. As far as attacking goes, the arch has stats and skills that are easily on par with the powerful Araba's. It might not have the power to cause a huge catastrophe like Mother does, but it's still enough to do some serious damage to a corner of the labyrinth like Araba did. And there are 5 of those powerful creatures here. Isn't that a bit of overkill? I guess that just shows how seriously Mother is trying to kill me. And I have to say, that plan seems to be going pretty well for her right now. Mother's breath attack decimated part of my body, the archer's fangs put holes in the rest of it, and now poison is eating away at me, too. It's enough to make you wonder how I'm even still alive at this point, honestly. Well, I know why. It's thanks to perseverance. My HP already hit 0 a long time ago. However, the perseverance skill can substitute MP for HP. As soon as my MP runs out, I'm dead. Thanks to Height of Occultism, my MP regenerates faster than it can go down, so I'm not going to die that easily. However, that doesn't mean my wounds are going to heal anytime soon. Perseverance really just passes off my MP as HP to delay the inevitable. If I take enough damage that I can't move anymore, I'm sure the arcs will damage me faster than my MP can recover. I'll be beaten to a pulp. Or maybe just devoured. Even perseverance can't do much if my body itself is gone. I'm already just a step away from that line. And I have no time to think about recovery, because all 5 arcs are coming to attack me. I definitely can't worry about appearances now. I dodge the oncoming arcs and run for my life. Instead of going down to the ground crawling with countless spiders, I use dimensional maneuvering to flee through the air. Without all my legs, I can't reach my usual speed. Filled with fear and frustration, I intercept the huge amount of thread coming up at me with thread of my own. My destination is the middle stratum. I might not be overly fond of the place, but the spider army is even weaker to the heat there than I am. The fiery environment of the middle stratum is terrible for spiders without resistance. An arch or greater Taratech can probably endure it, but anything weaker than that would probably die from simply being there. But they're still one step ahead of me. As I race toward the entrance to the middle stratum, something stands in my way. It looks almost like a doll. No, I think it actually is a doll. It has a smooth, faceless head. An inorganic body with spherical joints. The obstacle resembles a mannequin that could be found at any department store. Here in the labyrinth, something so obviously artificial seems strangely out of place. But it makes sense once you know what's inside. Appraisal reveals to me that the doll is full of thread, with a tiny spider at the center. And this spider is a horrifying monster whose stats all exceed 10,000. According to appraisal, this is a puppet Taratect. But I've never heard of such a creature. Even the evolution tree that wisdom showed me didn't contain any monster by that name, but my instincts tell me that this mysterious monster must be one of Mother's trump cards. The humanoid doll readies the swords in its hands. All 6 of them. Though the doll looks like a human being, it has 6 arms. If you include the legs, that makes 8 limbs, just like a spider. While I'm being distracted by such a stupid observation, the 6 swords come at me. Unable to dodge, I feel it summarily cut off my 2 front legs. Monsters shouldn't use weapons, damn it. I want to shout. I don't know if you stole them from humans or made them yourself, but that's just not fair. 1 would be all right, but 6 swords at once? How am I supposed to avoid that? I've almost never lost to anyone in terms of speed. The only exceptions would be Mother, the Earth Dragon Aruba, which I encountered early on, and the Fire Dragon Rend. With my amazing speed, thought super acceleration, and future sight, I've always been proud of my evasion abilities. But now I've been outdone at the one thing I do best. Thought super acceleration and future sight can theoretically figure out how best to dodge something instantly, but that works only if I can get my body to do it in practice. If the attack moves faster than my body can react, of course there's no way I can dodge it. I promptly use magic to knock back the doll, but the situation is only worsening. The puppet spider in front of me, 5 arcs behind me. On top of that, I've lost half my legs, leaving my body in tatters and my mobility drastically low. I can feel death closing in on me, even more keenly than the time I faced Aruba. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I can't just give up. I'll claw my way towards survival for all I'm worth, until my very last moment. If I am gonna die here, I'm taking as many of them down with me as I can. Half crazed with desperation, I still try to check myself as I fire off a barrage of magic. My main goal is quantity over quality, so the spells aren't very powerful, but since these spiders don't have the skill dragon scales, it should still do decent damage. Even if it's not much, I doubt they'll want to charge right into the line of fire. Sure enough, the puppet spider and the arcs all pause to defend themselves. They use magic, swords, or whatever else to fend off my attacks. But the other spiders, who can't even counterattack my lowest level magic, start going down from the direct hits. Oh, Maybe this desperate strategy could actually work. While keeping the puppet spider and the arcs at bay remains my top priority, I start aiming for the other spiders, too. Especially the bigger ones that look like they'd be worth more EXP. The little critters are dying from the aftershocks alone, anyway. While I'm at it, I switch from inert evil eye, which probably won't work that well, to Jinx evil eye. Leaving only one eye for future sight, I apply Jinx evil eye to all the others, stealing MP and such from my enemies. Then I use that newly restored MP on another barrage of magic. One of the arcs gets fed up and tries to push through the barrage despite the damage, but instead of trying to counterattack, I only move away. I definitely can't risk trying to prepare other spells while producing all this magic by myself. I might be able to ward them off, but I can't completely stop the arcs from moving. Noticing this, the other arcs start to charge, too, even if they take damage in the process. I didn't buy as much time as I had hoped. If I had even one parallel mind available, things would probably be different, but there's no point in thinking about that now. I'm on my own. I'm going to have to manage this myself. I give up on the magic barrage and switch to higher-powered magic, aiming it toward the arcs as they charge toward me. Realizing that this will cause more damage than they're willing to sustain, the arcs stop to defend themselves again. I use that chance to put some distance between us, using slightly weaker magic to fend off the other spiders while I'm at it. The puppet spider alone moves to the entrance of the middle stratum, simply standing there to prevent me from fleeing. I can't say that it's particularly good or bad. Impatiently, I check my status. I'm fending off the arc's attacks with magic and thread for now, but I know all too well that I can't keep that up for long. Given the arc's stats, it's only a matter of time before they push through my pathetic attempts. Especially since there's 5 of them. And that moment comes all too quickly. One of the arc's sharp claws catches my torso. As soon as I hit the ground, it pins me down. Unable to move, I see the other arcs closing in. This is a serious crisis. But I still have a final ray of hope. Checking on my tattered body, I look at one of my status items again. Experience points. I check the amount I gained from shooting down other spiders while I fended off the arcs, then the amount I need to level up. It's close. I'm insanely close to the number of points I need, and I'm terrifyingly close to death, too. It's a gamble, but the only other option is certain death. I have to try, no matter how terrible the odds. I quickly appraise the arcs and lock onto the one with the lowest HP. Annihilating Evil Eye, activate. This is a skill I gained when I evolved into my current race, Ada Cyan. An insta-kill attack that uses Rot, the attribute associated with death. Of all my skills, it's currently second only to Abyss Magic in terms of killing power. However, it comes at a high price. I take a huge amount of recoil damage when I use it. That amount will be especially severe for my currently beaten-up body. I'd say the odds of me surviving are about 50-50. Even if I do live through the self-inflicted damage, there's a follow-up 50-50 bet as to whether it'll kill the arch. And after that, the gamble of whether it'll be enough EXP for me to level up. My odds of winning all these bets are 1 in 8 at best. Experience has reached the required level. Individual Ada Cyan has increased from level 29 to level 30. Looks like I won. My attack killed the arch, and the resulting EXP raised my level. I undergo molting, which fully heals my wounds. The missing part of my torso is restored, and my lost limbs grow back. However, my HP doesn't recover completely. Turns out there's a limit on how much I can heal by leveling up. Still, this is a turn for the better. I can even see a chance of pulling through this. It's a small one, but it's there. The arch that I hit with my annihilating evil eye disintegrates into dust. This development seems to surprise the one pinning me to the ground, enough that its leg slackens a little. I use cutting thread to slash at my captor's leg and slip from its hold. At the same time, I clamber up that leg and latch onto the arch's torso. The arch tries to shake me off, but I dig in firmly with my sharp claws and sink my fangs into it. Moments later, it's writhing around in agony. The arch slams its body against the ground, trying to knock me off, but I hang on through sheer determination, continuing to inject it with poison. The other arcs are powerless to intervene, since they can't attack me without attacking the one I'm stuck to as well. The arch thrashes around, I hang on, and the other spiders watch, unable to do anything. The only one to get a clue is the puppet spider, which I probably should have expected. It charges forward, fully prepared to slice me in half even if it means killing the arch, too. But it's too late. Time is up. Long-distance teleport, activate. The puppet's blade swings toward me, but my body disappears just before it reaches me. My spell moves me into the middle stratum with the unlucky arch in tow. Really, with the arch's obscenely high status condition resistance, my poison would never be enough to kill it. Biting into it with a poison attack was just a way to stall for time. In those stolen moments, I started preparing the teleport spell. My goal in that situation wasn't to wipe out the spider army. It was ultimately nothing more than survival. My odds of surviving by fighting to the bitter end were next to nothing. The 4 remaining arcs would have been enough of a challenge, never mind the puppet spider, which was leagues above all of them. To be honest, I couldn't have beaten that thing even in a one-on-one situation. I've got no desire to participate in a battle I can't win. That's why I focused all my efforts on getting away. Though I guess I also got this arch as a souvenir. I release my fangs and grapple with the arch above the magma. Now the tables have turned. I have a certain degree of heat resistance, but the arch has none. Instead, it gets to take the brunt of my anger for putting me in such a deadly position. A few minutes later, the charred body of the arch drops into the magma, defeated by the upper stratum. Side story 4: The Terror of the Great Elro Labyrinth. A vaguely unreal scene unfolds in my unfocused vision. It's as if I'm looking in from the other side of a thin film, like watching an old movie. The faint light of a torch illuminates the people around me. Several of them are familiar faces. I can see Mr. Hirintz and the Saint, Yana. 2 of the other men don't look familiar, but the third one. Isn't that Barsgath's son, Koif? They keep walking somewhere, until they cross paths with something. A spider monster, a nightmare's vestige. After a hard fight, the group defeats it. In that moment, I have a strange vision of a girl. A girl whose features I can't see, who can only be described as white. I jump to my feet. Was that a dream? About when Julius defeated a nightmare's vestige in the past? Did I dream about it because of that conversation with Barsgath? Or was Julius trying to tell me something? That last idea is probably just wishful thinking on my part. Absently, I touch the white scarf wrapped around my neck, a memento of my brother. We're about to enter the large passage. Keep your wits about ye. With that, Mr. Barsgath leads us forward. Once I cross the threshold, I stare around me in surprise. It's huge. Sure, I was briefed on this already, but it's totally different from the cramped passages we've been traveling in all this time. It could easily be 300 feet wide. The ceiling looks equally high. Just like Barsgath said, it's more like a vast hall than a passage. But my shock lasts only for a moment. I quickly return to my senses, looking around carefully. No signs of any monsters nearby. Relieved, I still keep my guard up as we move forward. The passage is enormous. But there are large boulders and such scattered about, impeding our vision. Something could be lurking in the shadows of the rocks. I keep an eye out for any signs as we steadily progress. After a while, Barsgath pauses. What's wrong? It's strange. I haven't seen any monsters. Barsgath's voice and expression can't quite hide his consternation. Is that really such a bad thing? Are there usually more around here? It's strange that we've not seen any after coming this far. Under his breath, he adds, it's like when we saw the nightmare. Now that makes me nervous. Is there any way to reach a different route? It's probably best to assume that something strange is going on. In which case, we should take precautions. There's a side path a short distance ahead. We'll switch to another route there. Barsgath seems to agree, as he doesn't hesitate to craft an alternate plan. We all catch on to Barsgath's agitated state, and no one objects to this. But we made our decision a little too late. Something is already coming this way. A dragon. First, we see a silhouette that resembles a slimmed-down Tyrannosaurus. However, its hands are strangely large, and each of its claws glitters like a flawlessly crafted sword. An earth dragon. Damn. And in the upper stratum, does that mean it evolved? Barsgath clicks his tongue. All of us get ready for battle. Stealing myself, I appraise our opponent. Earth Dragon Ikiza Level 2. Status, HP, 2808 out of 2808. SP, 3655 out of 3655. Average offensive ability, 2498. Average magical ability, 1298. Average speed ability, 3600. MP, 1312 out of 1312. Average defensive ability, 2455. Average resistance ability, 2452. Skills. Earth Dragon Level 1, Imperial Scales Level 4, Hard Armor Level 1, Steel Body Level 1, Sturdy Level 5, Monk Level 1, Talisman Level 5, Scander Level 1 plus many more skills. Skill points, 19,500. Titles. Monster Slayer, Monster Slaughterer, Dragon, Champion. High stats, especially its overwhelming speed. This thing is fast, everyone. Be careful. I shout. At the same time, the Earth Dragon lunges forward. Harins's shield catches its claws as they swing down. Gay? His face distorts with pain. But thanks to his quick reaction, the dragon stops in place for a moment. Barsgath and I waste no time in slashing at its left and right feet respectively. Katia and Ms. Oka unleash their magic on it, too. Katia's flame magic burns the dragon's face, and Ms. Oka's wind magic knocks it off its feet. The dragon shrieks in pain and tumbles backward. However, the actual damage is minimal. My sword sliced about halfway through its right leg. But Barsgath's cut barely made a scratch on its left. He couldn't break through its tough defenses. The dragon rises again. Its face is free of burns, despite taking a direct hit of flame magic. This doesn't look good, Barsgath mutters. His face is covered in sweat. My hands are sweating, too, in response to the unexpectedly powerful defense of our opponent. I had intended to cut its leg clean off with that attack. Instead, I only ended up with a strike that was too shallow. In fact, I nearly lost my grip on my sword because of all that resistance. Magic barely has any effect, either. The Imperial Scales skill dramatically reduces the impact of magic. Katia and Ms. Oka are some of the strongest magic users of their races. But the Earth Dragon is utterly unfazed by their attacks. Still, it's not as though it didn't do any damage whatsoever. This opponent isn't unbeatable. Then the dragon leaps from the ground. Despite having no wings, it easily moves through the air. It's using dimensional maneuvering. And its eyes are fixed directly on Anna, who is hovering at the back of our party. Anna activates some magic. But her electric attack doesn't cause any damage. The Earth Dragon has lightning resistance. On top of its already high magic resistance, lightning magic doesn't stand a chance. Harins throws himself between the charging dragon and Anna. His shield blocks the Earth Dragon's claws. Just like before. This time, however, the dragon doesn't pause, instead opting to retreat immediately. We can't keep up fast enough to strike back. Lightning won't work, it has resistance. Same for Earth. Switch to other attributes. Katia, you stick with magic. Barsgath, you also use magic to distract it. I quickly relay information to the others. It has resistance to physical attacks, too, but there's nothing we can do about that. If Barsgath's strength wasn't enough to cause any damage, then only myself and one other person will be able to reduce its HP, with physical attacks. Hiya. That other person is Faye, who just punched the Earth Dragon in the face. Its enormous body flies back almost comically, rolling along the ground. I'm sure I'm not the only one who pauses dumbstruck for a moment. Katia often accuses me of being a cheater, but isn't Faye the real cheater here? The Earth Dragon stands up, glowers at Faye, and runs toward her with a roar. Its claws swing toward her. Faye raises her arms to defend herself. Her arms sparkle a metallic white, but it's no illusion. It's a skill called Steel Body, which hardens the user's body like metal. Since she also has hard armor, which toughens the skin, Faye's defense is even higher than her stats imply. Whether she's in human form or not, she's still a light dragon who was originally a defense-oriented earthworm. A dragon who can square off with another dragon. Even the Earth Dragon seems surprised to have its attack blocked head-on, and it pauses for a moment. Seeing this, Ms. Oka activates her magic. A vortex of wind engulfs the Earth Dragon. This spell isn't intended to cause damage. It's intended to hold the dragon in place. Binding Wind, a gale magic spell. The Earth Dragon struggles to escape. With its imperial scales, it won't be contained for long. Katia's flame magic strikes next. It merges with Ms. Oka's Binding Wind, forming a tornado of flame around the Earth Dragon. The Earth Dragon howls in pain. Anna pummels it with more wind magic, and Barsgath uses dark magic. Harint seizes the chance to use healing magic on himself. The Earth Dragon's attack damaged him, even with his shield protecting him. The dragon's HP is steadily decreasing. But then it shakes off the flame tornado. The shine of a charging breath attack gathers in its maw. As my friends catch their breath, I step in front of them. My magic collides with the dragon's breath. The spell I use is the level 7 Holy Light magic spell. Its rather uncool name is Holy Light Beam. But in spite of the cheesy title, it's quite powerful. The ray of light forces the dragon's breath back into its mouth. Its jaw snaps, and the Earth Dragon's body slowly hits the ground. The dragon's HP has reached 0. Experience has reached the required level. Schleinsagen Eineliet has increased from level 28 to level 29. All basic attributes have increased. Skill proficiency level up bonus acquired. Skill points acquired. Condition satisfied. Acquired title, Dragon Slayer. Acquired skills, Lifeblood level 1, Dragon Power level 1, as a result of title, Dragon Slayer. Lifeblood level 1 has been integrated into Lifeblood level 6. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill, Lifeblood level 6, has become Lifeblood level 7. It looks like I gained a title by defeating the dragon. Dragon Slayer? Well, I suppose we're proper legends now. Katia chuckles. Apparently, everyone who participated in the battle got the title, not just the person who dealt the finishing blow. Phew. So we managed to slay a dragon. I didn't know how that'd go, to be honest. Barsgath cautiously approaches the Earth Dragon's corpse. Any of ye mind if I take this thing? No, please do. Monster parts can have all kinds of uses. Dragons are considered especially valuable. Since Barsgath has a spatial storage item, he can carry even the largest of carcasses. The dragon corpse is sucked into Barsgath's bag. Was that the most dangerous monster in the large passage? Don't be stupid. A big-shot monster like this normally wouldn't be here at all. The most difficult monster in the large passage ought to be an earthworm, a rank below this thing. More than likely, this thing was an earthworm that evolved. Yeah. Its level was pretty low. Exactly. I'd bet we didn't see any other monsters because this guy was running around eating them all. When monsters gain a lot of experience, they sometimes evolve. This means they become a higher class monster and revert to level 1. And monsters that have recently evolved become very hungry and belligerent. The dragon was a low level, and its SP was already reduced at the start of the fight. That means it had probably evolved not too long ago. Dragon Slayer, eh? Guess I only ever fought worms with Julius and the others. That'll make a nice souvenir to show off to them in the next life. Harince laughs bleakly. We were only able to win because you blocked its attack. Blocking was all I could manage. But I guess I did my job as a tank. Yes, very much so. That's why there weren't any casualties. Thank you. No need to thank me. It's what I'm here for. Besides, you're the one who finished it off. Good job, kid. Harince ruffles my hair a bit roughly. Cut it out, please. I laugh as I dodge away from his hand. Having defeated a powerful enemy, we all start to relax a little. Then a chill runs down my spine. I turn around. Something else returns my gaze. 8 glittering eyes, looking down at us from on top of a rock. A monster known as a nightmare's vestige. There it stands, on top of the boulder. Its blood-red eyes are fixed on me coldly. It isn't particularly large, but it has a greater presence than any monster we've faced so far. I can't move. Neither can anyone else. It's like we're frozen in place, unable to even tremble. The white spider monster seems to have its claws around our hearts. Hero? Suddenly, I hear a voice. But not in the form of sound. Telepathy. It wasn't directed at me. I just happened to be overhearing it on its way to someone else. Hero. Then, suddenly, that someone else is here. Not just here. It's everywhere. Ruler. 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 Cannot be appraised. 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 Ruler. 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 Reincarnation? Reincarnation. 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 But they're weak? Weak. 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 The telepathic voice echoes all around, then they appear, on the floor, on the wall, on the ceiling, everywhere. Red eyes, tons of them. Then white, filling up my vision. The bizarre spectacle forces my thoughts to grind to a halt. No, I have to think. They're using language for a specific purpose, they must be. And one particular word stands out. You know about reincarnations? I steady my resolve and speak. Barsgath's eyes widen, but I had to ask, no matter what. We do. We do. Of course we do. The answer is immediate. We're communicating with each other. These things aren't monsters that lack intelligence. Why do you know that? Master. Master. Mother. Mother. Is this master a reincarnation? You'll know soon enough. You'll find out soon enough. You'll find out. You'll know. What do you mean? Proclamation. Pronouncement. The beginning of the end. The world begins. The world ends. The white shadows gradually disappear. Please, wait. What does that mean? You don't need to know. You'll die anyway. Everyone will die. Just struggle to survive. Implicitly, I felt like they were saying, we'll let you live until then. With that, the nightmare's vestiges disappear. You fool. Barsgath's fist strikes my face. I accept the punch with resignation. Barsgath tries to strike me again, but Harince grabs him and holds him back. I told ye, didn't I? If ye see a nightmare's vestige, don't do anything. Even in a chokehold, Barsgath is still yelling with rage. At this rate, he might even shake off Harince and come at me again. Now. Ms. Oka steps in. We still got through safely, didn't we? Barsgath reluctantly stops struggling. He still seems angry, but at least there's no sign he'll become violent again. I'm sorry. I just had to ask. Even if it killed Ye. Barsgath glares at me. I don't know how to respond. If Ye want to die, that's your choice, boy. But not if Ye get others involved, too. Die alone if that's what Ye want. Barsgath, that's going too far. Mizoka scolds him, but I think he's right. I made a selfish choice while dealing with the dangerous nightmare's vestiges simply because I was too curious. Barsgath pushes Herinz away. Perhaps judging that he won't strike me anymore, Herinz releases him. Immediately, Barsgath staggers over to a rock some ways away, leans against it, and slides to the ground. Looking closer, I realize that his face is pale. Barsgath did say that he encountered the nightmare a long time ago. Maybe that encounter traumatized him. Looking around at the others, I see that Katia and Anna have dropped to their knees, and Herinz looks a little pale. Even Faye's expression is stiff. Our teacher is the only one who appears calm. Are you all right? I address Katia and Anna first. I can't seem to stand at the moment, I'm so ashamed. They both look almost on the verge of tears. Judging by the goosebumps on their skin, they are a little grossed out as well as terrified. Even if they were comparatively small for monsters, we were still essentially surrounded by giant spiders. It makes sense that the girls would be distressed. I'm disturbed as well. If they'd attacked us, do you think you could have handled it, Faye? I don't think so. Faye responds to my question uncertainly. One of them probably would have been fine, but with such a huge number of them, I'm not so sure. I figured. If there was only one, even I might have been able to handle it. I didn't appraise them, of course, so I don't know their exact stats, but they certainly seemed at least as strong as that Earth Dragon, if not stronger. Since Faye was able to hold her own against the Earth Dragon, maybe she could have fought off a nightmare's vestige, too. But that's assuming there was only one of them. Against a group so large that I couldn't even count them all, winning would probably be impossible. Which is why carelessly speaking to the nightmare's vestige in that situation was a reckless act that put everyone's lives in danger. I have no right to complain about Barsgath hitting me. As our guide, he's in charge of keeping all of us safe. There's no way he could let my selfish decision slide. You certainly seem calm, don't you? The color starting to return to her face, Katia raises her eyebrows at Ms. Oka. I wouldn't say that. Sure, they were cute on the outside, but I didn't like their tone one bit. Cute? Wow. So she actually did think that. Ms. Oka always had unusual tastes, even in our old lives. At the time, I thought it was just for show, but apparently she really does like spiders and stuff. Surprising? By the way, what do you think of what they were saying? The nightmare's vestiges spoke in nothing but repetitive riddles. I don't know. We don't have enough information. First of all, what exactly are those monsters we call the nightmare's vestiges? They seem to know a thing or two about us, meaning they must have a high-level appraisal skill. More importantly, they were intelligent enough to understand human language. Not to mention stealthy enough to gather in such a large number without our noticing. They also worked together seamlessly, even going as far as using telepathy. How could mere fragments be this powerful? It doesn't make sense to consider them ordinary monsters. What in the world are they? What is their connection to the monster known as the nightmare that was around when they first appeared? The beginning of the end. Everyone will die. Those ominous, nightmarish words. They stay in my mind, repeating over and over. Chapter 5 Evolution. Once the Arch-Taratect has been dealt with, I check to make sure my surroundings are safe before I breathe a sigh of relief. I survived. Boy, that was rough. I thought being chased down by Mother was bad enough, but then I got ambushed as soon as I escaped. Just how badly does she want to kill me? I mean, she's seriously out for blood. If this were a game, it'd get scathing reviews for being too hard. It's like if the final boss spawned just as you were entering the first real area, and when you ran away, you got attacked by a bunch of mini-bosses at once. Unreal. At this point, my sheer exhaustion outweighs my excitement about surviving. both physically and mentally speaking. I've definitely resigned myself to death quite a few times by now, but this was the closest call yet. I even used Annihilating Evil Eye, which I'd considered off-limits because of its self-destructive nature, on a gamble where my odds of surviving were far lower. I've had my share of situations where a single hit would kill me, but nothing like what just happened, where death closed in on me from all sides. I think the closest I've come before that was when I fell to the lower stratum and got stung by that bee, or when I fought Araba. Being one hit away from a death that could come at any moment is scary, but being slowly backed into a corner with no way out? Way worse. Seriously, no more of that, please. Well, that crisis is over, at least for now. My current location is a magma lake about halfway through the middle stratum. Given their weakness to fire, those other spiders won't chase me this far. I hope. I mean, even the Archer's HP decreased just by being here, which means any Terratect's weaker than that would probably die in a flash. The biggest problem is that weird new puppet spider. That thing might actually be able to function in the middle stratum. Man, what was up with that freak? Since it's nowhere on my evolution chart from Professor Wisdom, it must be some special evolution that's not part of the normal Terratect line. Maybe it's a mutation or something? Either way, that's one ace I wish they'd kept in the hole. It might not be quite as horrifying as Mother, but since its stats are above 10,000, I definitely don't see myself winning that fight. It was bad enough that it prevented me from fleeing and all, but if it had been that thing actively attacking me instead of the arcs, I would have been in big trouble. If the arcs had blocked the passage instead, while the puppet spider finished me off, oh yeah, I'd be dead. That's the only miscalculation Mother made. And it was that tiny error that saved my ass. That was still the worst predicament I've been in yet, though. So what should I do now? First of all, I'd like to know what Mother is up to. I tried checking in with my parallel minds that are totally rocking their spirit battle with Mother, but it seemed like there was some blockage partway through. Our connection hasn't been cut, but something is interfering with our communication. My connection with Mother is fading, too. My guess is that Mother was able to track my actions perfectly because she was using her kin control skill to spy on me. It was when I first noticed that skill's influence that I decided to use it to launch a counterattack on Mother. It makes sense that it would still be connecting us. I had let my guard down about it because she couldn't control me, but she must have been able to use it to watch me. And if that connection is weakening now, does that mean Mother can't see me anymore, either? If that's the case, then she might attack again if the connection recovers. She'd figure out where I am. But to put it another way, that means she probably doesn't know where I am right now. Maybe I can relax a little. This is all just an educated guess, though, so I'd better not put too much faith in it. Still, maybe this means I shouldn't use clairvoyance to check on Mother. I'm afraid it'd attract her attention. For now, if I just stay put, it should buy me a few days at least. If my parallel minds can defeat Mother in that time, then it'll all be over. Even if not, I don't stand a chance of beating her in person. Running away is my only option. Now I know how criminals feel when they're on the run. I'm scared of the spider police. Well, let's just focus on what I can do for now. When I defeated the Arch earlier, I went up to level 30. And now the words evolution available have appeared in my status. Heh. That's right. I can evolve again. This is the last step I need before my evolutionary goal, Arachne. I have only one option, Zana Horror. As far as I can tell from the evolutionary tree, this species is on the same level as Mother. Still, considering my evolution so far, I'm guessing my stats aren't going to suddenly jump way up or anything. Just evolving won't suddenly make me Mother's equal. For one thing, even if our species are on par with each other, Mother is level 89. I'd have to evolve and grind my way up to level 89 to compete with that. Still, if I evolve, my stats will probably go up at least a little, and maybe I'll get some new skills, too. Although at this point, the only skills I've gotten from evolving are things like Rot Attack and Annihilating Evil Eye, which are super strong but do tons of damage to me, too. I'll be totally unprotected when I evolve, but all the other monsters in the area ran off somewhere while I was beating the crap out of the arch, so that isn't a problem. Not so long ago, it was a life-threatening risk to evolve here, but now monsters all run away from me of their own accord. That kinda sucks, in that it makes it difficult to secure food, but at times like this, I'm grateful for it. Let's get evolving. Individual Ada Cyan will evolve into Zana Horowa. Yes. My consciousness doesn't fade like it normally would. Huh? What's up with that? Oh, maybe it's exhaustion nullification. That's a skill I got with my Ruler of Sloth title. Not only does it cancel out sleep attribute attacks, it also prevents the negative effects of not sleeping. I can stay up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no penalties to show for it. Plus, I can still sleep normally when I want. It's a pretty handy skill. I'm guessing it's also the reason why I'm not passing out when I evolve now. So, this is evolution, huh? It feels pretty weird. It doesn't hurt or itch or anything, but it's kinda like my body is being remodeled from the inside out, like I'm turning into something totally different. But weirdly, it doesn't feel bad or scary. Evolution completed. Species changed to Zana Horowa. All basic attributes have increased. Skill proficiency evolutionary bonus acquired. Then a whole bunch of my skills level up. Ooh. I knew evolving would improve my skills and all, but hearing them listed off like this really drives home how many there are. Acquired skill, immortality, as a result of evolution. Skill points acquired. Excuse me? Did I just hear what I think I just heard? Wait. What did you say I got? Immortality, user will no longer die within the system. What? Are you sure about that? How is this even allowed? How stupid can that weirdo get to just give me a skill like this? We're talking about the ultimate cheat skill that people have pursued throughout time and space. Oh man. Now we're talking. If I can't die, doesn't that mean I can just charge on up to Mother if I want to? We're talking about immortality here. I can get stomped on, hit with a breath attack, or blasted to smithereens by magic, and I still won't die. I'll just keep attacking like a zombie. Even an all-powerful monster like Mother would run out of strength eventually if she fought an enemy who never dies. Wahaha. Who knew evolving would just casually solve all my problems? If just evolving into this race gives you such an overpowered skill, no wonder it said it's on the same level as Mother. Phew. Anyway, I'd better eat to recover the red stamina I lost in evolution. Munching on the dead arch, I open my status. Zana Horowa level 1 nameless. Status, HP, 4293 out of 4293. SP, 2873 out of 2873. Average offensive ability, 2833. Average magical ability, 12599. Average speed ability, 8361. MP, 13,292 out of 13,292. Average defensive ability, 2,904. Average resistance ability, 12,545. Skills. HP, Rapid Recovery level 9, Height of Occultism, Magic Divinity level 3, Magic Power Conferment level 8, Tyrant level 2, Conviction, Hades, Corruption Abyss Magic level 10, Perseverance, Pride, Wrath level 4, Fortitude level 3, Stronghold level 3, Scandal level 7, Demon Lord level 5, Taboo level 10 plus many more skills. Skill points, 3,600. Titles. Foul Feeder, Kin Eater, Assassin, Monster Slayer, Poison Technique User, Thread User, Merciless, Monster Slaughterer, Ruler of Pride, Ruler of Perseverance, Ruler of Wisdom, Worm Slayer, Fearbringer, Dragon Slayer, Ruler of Sloth, Monster Calamity Champion. Yeah, my stats didn't really go up that drastically. Just like with my previous evolutions, it's not much more than a regular level up. My magic stats are still the only area that exceeds 10,000, with speed being the next highest. Aside from immortality, the most noteworthy new skill is probably status condition nullification. Also, I was too distracted by immortality to hear it, but it looks like I got some title called champion when I evolved. I got the status condition resistance skill with it, but then I guess all my related skills, like poison resistance and exhaustion nullification, got merged into it, so it made it all the way to nullification at once. Champion, acquire skills, destruction enhancement level 1, status condition resistance level 1. Acquisition condition, be recognized as a champion. Effect, inflicts the heresy attribute effect fear on anyone who sees the holder. Explanation, a title awarded to those worthy of being champions. Good for you, Spider. Now you're even scarier. At this point, just looking at me would probably be enough to make a faint-hearted person, or monster, pass out on the spot. And what does recognized as a champion mean anyway? Recognized by whom? By an administrator, of course. The voice is beautiful yet somehow deeply unsettling. I look around and notice that there's a smartphone lying right at my feet. That's where the voice that answered my inner thoughts is coming from. This seems familiar. In fact, I've seen a smartphone in this world only once, so there's no mistake. This must be the self-styled evil god D. Yeah, let's just pretend I didn't see it. Nope. I didn't see a thing. I'm not listening. Hello? This is D. La la la. I can't hear you. Oh, that's odd. Who put this spider self-destruct button in my hand? I'm sorry, please forgive me. Wait, what kind of button is that anyway? When did you even make that? I'm joking. I don't have anything of the sort. I don't need any help to turn you into a ghastly fireworks display if I feel like it, after all. Yikes, that doesn't exactly make me feel any better. Don't you worry. I would never waste a hilarious up-and-coming talent like you. Oh, is that right? Gosh, what an honor. Well, good talking to you. Activate self-destruct. I'm sorry. Come on, I'm joking. Lighten up. It's hard to tell when you're joking if your voice is totally monotone the whole time, you know. Yes, I get that a lot. What do you actually want? I just wanted to congratulate you. For attaining immortality. Oh. Thanks. Hey, why did you make a skill like that anyway? What do you think people ultimately aim for when they've been satisfied? Huh? Wealth, fame, power, authority, and, of course, agelessness or immortality. That's all people ever want, no matter what world they're from. And if they learned that they could actually get it, what do you think they would do? Whatever it takes to get a hold of it, I guess. Oh, so that's it. Precisely. People love to strive for something, even if they know they'll never reach it. They'll sacrifice anything. Then they'll try, and ultimately expire without ever getting what they want. And we administrators will be happy to accept the delicious fruits of their labors. It's really quite efficient, don't you agree? Man, are you ever a creep? I am an evil god, after all. Then why'd you let me actually get my hands on it, then? Well, Zana Horror is supposed to be an undead monster of sorts. I never imagined any individual would actually evolve into it, however. Hey, wait a second. Does that mean I shouldn't have picked it? No, I certainly wouldn't say that. It's simply that the prior step, Zoa L, is already quite rare and has also been designed to die before it evolves. Huh? What's that mean? The Zoa L evolution came with rot attack, remember? However, it did not come with rot resistance. Huh? Really? Indeed. Thus, if a normal Zoa L was to use rot attack, it would immediately die as well. You're lucky you had rot resistance, Yikes. For real? I very nearly killed myself, then. Thanks to that resistance, you simply lost the ability to use your scythe. Ordinarily, you would have died instantly. Talk about a defective product. The attack kills both yourself and your opponent. That's why the Zoa L has come to be known as a symbol of bad luck. I guess that is pretty unlucky. Not to mention rude. The Ada Cyan is the same way, since it gains the even more powerful annihilating evil eye. It's bound to die before evolving. Have any of them ever evolved into a Zana Horror before? Not a single one. Congratulations are in order. You've become a completely one-of-a-kind monster. Bravo, bravo. That's great and all, but somehow hearing it from you doesn't make me feel very good about it. After I was kind enough to congratulate you? I mean, considering your track record so far, you know. Well, I am an evil god. Uck. Between taboo and immortality and all that, you really are the worst. I wish you'd phrase that a bit more flatteringly. You could say I'm malice incarnate, for example. That's definitely not gonna happen. I will say you're a nasty piece of work, though. You don't think the taboo system is brilliantly devised? Definitely not. I'm basically an outsider here, so it mostly just makes me uncomfortable, but wouldn't a normal resident of this world go crazy the second they max out taboo? I suppose the humans who have maxed out taboo in the past did not meet a particularly pleasant end. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But that's what makes it taboo. Man, what's wrong with you? Well, I guess you reap what you sow. You don't seem to be in any position to be making such observations. Oh, right. I have to deal with Mother somehow, or I'll never see the light of day again. By which I mostly mean I literally won't be able to go outside. Since you don't seem to be very self-aware about it, might I remind you that this attack of yours is not within the system? Oh, really? At the very least, I have no recollection of implementing a skill that would allow anything like what you're doing right now. Well, I guess I did get the feeling that I wasn't really using a skill to attack Mother with my parallel minds. Wait, does that mean I'm using portions of my divinity field? It does indeed. Heh. Looks like I'll be becoming a god any day now. I'm looking forward to it. I was expecting you to have a retort for that, not to just totally blow me off. No, I mean it. I am hopeful that you'll manage to reach our field someday. Seriously? Yes. What is your goal exactly? I told you before. Amusement. Oh yeah. I guess you did. I'm in a good mood today. How would you like me to share some information with you? Seriously? Yes. As long as it's within my ability to tell you, I will be happy to answer any questions you have about this world. Wow, for real? What should I ask, then? Well, first of all, why did I get reincarnated into this world? Yes. I'll give you a detailed explanation, shall I? Let's start from the beginning. First, you died in Japan on Earth. Are you with me so far? Yes. So I really did die, huh? I kinda figured. The cause of your death is in fact related to the hero and demon lord of the previous age. Huh? Why would heroes and demon lords in this world have any effect on Earth? The previous hero and demon lord alike were remarkably talented magic users. They altered dimensional magic to create a magic that crosses the borders between worlds. Is that even possible? It certainly is. There's nothing preventing it. However, the system does not give support for any techniques outside of itself. The inhabitants of this world were too accustomed to having the system's support and couldn't control such an advanced rune on their own. As a result, the rune misfired. When it crossed dimensions, it destroyed part of the MA field. Then it broke through the barriers between worlds and unfortunately exploded on Earth, in Japan, in a certain high school classroom. Whoa, way to cause trouble for other people. How stupid do you have to be to destroy part of the MA field? Not to mention getting me killed. Thanks a lot. Quite so. I ended up having to re-examine this world's entire system, which hadn't been done since it was made. Huh? I told you, remember? I am an outsider in the world you're in at present. It's the other administrators' jobs to manage it. I did supply the system itself, yes, but I will do nothing more. You say that, but you totally interfere all the time. I had no choice. Though it was a result of this world's hero and demon lord running rampant, those innocent high school students still got killed and dragged into the system. Being partially responsible myself, I thought it was the least I could do as the system's creator to help them out a little. Partially responsible? High school students, plural. As of now, 25 former Earthlings have been reincarnated into this world. The entire classroom was brutally destroyed, leaving no survivors, and the souls of the people who were killed by that attack were regurgitated into this world's system, so they were all reincarnated here. Left to their own devices, their souls would have disintegrated. That's why I took matters into my own hands and gave them the N% I equals W skill. With this skill, they would be able to keep the strength, memories, and such of their souls. Then I gave each of them a free skill based on their aptitude and generously ensured that they would be reborn into species with a similar wavelength to their original souls. If you ask me, that was the least I could do. Whoa, for real? So there are others here besides me. Wait, how many people were in our class again? There were 25, right? So if you include our teacher, that makes 26 people. Aren't we one person short? Yes. That would be me. Wait, you. What? You were in our class? Yes. That's why the magic the hero and demon lord created affected that particular classroom. What? Hey, by the way, what's your name? That's a secret. Or what? Come on, who are you? I don't remember anyone like you in that class. Well, let's not talk about me. The point is, that whole incident occurred because I, the highest administrator of the system, was in that classroom. That is why I take partial responsibility. And so I interfered with this world out of a sense of obligation. Aha. So that's why I had scanned her this whole time. But what about wisdom? I got the impression that you were done fulfilling your obligation as soon as you got us all reincarnated. As I said, that was a reward for your hard work. Oh, right. I suppose I owe you one, then. Thanks. You're quite welcome. So you gave me the whole wisdom thing and let me max out taboo, and now you want me to save the world? I have said nothing of the sort. You are free to do whatever you wish in this world. I will not stop you, nor will I direct you, I am simply an observer. I sure hope so. You don't seem to trust me. I mean, you're an evil god. True enough. Oh, I know. What were the hero and demon lord trying to do with that crazy magic anyway? I think perhaps they were trying to defeat me. Why? It seems they were inclined to think of administrators as the enemy. Perhaps someone else was instigating them. Doesn't that mean they were stupid beyond saving, then? Ugh. I can't believe I died because a couple of morons basically just caused a huge traffic accident. That's so dumb. Well, I've done my part, so what you do now that you've been reincarnated in a different world is up to you. Oh, right. I guess. You know, that was a pretty nice thing to do for an evil god. Seriously, thanks for saving my butt. Don't mention it. So who do you think was instigating the hero and demon lord? It wouldn't be any fun if I told you that part. You'll just have to see for yourself, sheesh. That's what you won't tell me? Things will be more entertaining that way. Rude. By the way, you mentioned earlier that you based our species on what matched our soul's wavelength or whatever, but, I'm a spider, aren't I? You are indeed. So my soul was closest to a spider's? Yes, the wavelength matched quite well, it seems. Most of the others were reincarnated as humans, incidentally. Say what? Why me? Why am I a spider? I want to be a human, too. How come I got stuck playing a survival game from birth? Your frustration is understandable, but it's because you were born as a spider that you were able to get such a big head start. It's not necessarily a bad thing, don't you agree? Head start? Quite. The others are all still babies. Oh. I get it. I guess it hasn't been that long since I was born. There is that, but it also happens that you were born much faster than a human would be. In terms of the Earth calendar, you were born about 6 months earlier than they were, huh? So I got half a year's head start, and now I've been growing like crazy while they're still in cribs going goo goo gaga. Yes, indeed. Do you have any other questions? Yeah, why did you make such an annoying system in the first place? Couldn't you have fixed things without it somehow, being as powerful as you are and all? I wasn't trying to fix anything. I am an evil god, remember? Yeah, I suppose. Well, I look forward to seeing what exciting actions you'll take next. Or you could stop watching me. Oh, but I will watch. With a bag of chips in one hand and a game in the other, most likely. Well, doesn't that sound nice? What, are you still in Japan? Indeed. No fair. These chips are delicious. Oh, there's that new ice cream that just came out, too. Maybe I'll try it later. Die. Ice cream. I've got chocolate and vanilla. Which do you think I should have first? Shut up and die. Don't talk to me about delicious desserts. Perhaps I ought to indulge a little and eat both at once. Gah. Now, that's enough joking for today. I'm rooting for you to defeat her, you know. I hope you'll survive and keep entertaining me. Sure. I'm not gonna die until I get to slap you in the face and steal your ice cream. I can't wait. Well, goodbye for now. The smartphone puffs away. That so-called evil god just talked at me for a while and left. With the cell phone gone, I take some time to release the tension from my body. I put on a show of having a light conversation, but I was actually pretty nervous. Dee claims to be an evil god. And that thing about having a spider self-destruct button might have been a joke, but the part about being able to kill me at any time is for real. That evil god could kill me as easily as switching on a TV with the remote. For some reason, Dee seems to like me enough to keep me alive for now, but that could change at any time. It's just like Dee said, the fate of the world, the life and death of others, all of that is just entertainment to them, as is the choice whether or not to kill. Dee doesn't care, as long as it makes for an enjoyable show. And I don't think Dee actually reincarnated us out of a sense of obligation, like they claimed. Most likely, Dee did it because it would be more amusing that way. That's my guess, at least. I am grateful that Dee reincarnated me after I died. However, that means we reincarnations are nothing more than Dee's playthings, no matter what we do. And that bothers me. But there's nothing I can do. I'm sure that cruel god knows that I feel this way, too. I bet that jerk gets a kick out of it. Side Story 5: Escape from the Great Elro Labyrinth. I'm walking through the hallway. I reach my classroom, open the door, and enter. Most of the students are already inside. A cluster of boys is laughing together. In the center of the group is Natsume. Next to him, Sakurazaki smiles wryly. I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm sure it's nothing good. As I head to my seat, I see Hasebe sitting at the desk next to mine, deep in conversation with Temurukawa and Furuta. I put my bag on my desk and head over to Kanata and Kyuya, who are chatting by the window. Out of the corner of my eye, I catch sight of Wakaba quietly sitting at her desk. Shinohara doesn't seem to be here yet, so no one is teasing her. Suddenly, I notice a spiderweb on the window opposite the one where Kanata and Kyuya are standing. For some reason, I can't tear my eyes away from it. When I finally do look away, a girl is standing in front of me. She looks dark and eerie, almost like a ghost. Yet her eyes alone are glittering brightly. This is the girl who's been secretly nicknamed Rohoko. Her hand reaches toward me. Arg! I jump up without thinking. Looking around, I know that I'm still in the Great Elro Labyrinth. That's right. This isn't the high school I went to in my old life back in Japan. It's a labyrinth in another world, one that's full of monsters. So what was the dream I just had? Did it mean something? Ever since we entered the Great Elro Labyrinth, I've been having strange dreams. It's been a long time since I dreamed about my past life. At this point, I can barely even remember what everyone looked like then. If I try to picture Natsume, all I can see is Hugo's face. Even my memory of my own face is starting to get hazy. But I can't forget Rohoko's face, even if I want to. I reach for Julius's white scarf around my neck, trying to calm my mind. There's still a little more time left for resting. I have to go back to sleep to restore my physical strength. But even knowing that, I still spend the rest of the night wide awake. After the encounter with the nightmare's vestiges, the journey has gone surprisingly well. Thanks in large part to the freshly evolved Earth Dragon devouring all the monsters in the area, we've hardly had to fight at all. Most likely, the presence of the nightmare's vestiges had something to do with the absence of monsters as well. But we haven't seen a single trace of a nightmare's vestige since. And now, at long last, we've almost reached the exit of the Great Elro Labyrinth. A pit? I repeat Barsgath's words uncertainly. Yep, that's right. Most likely, Empire soldiers will be waiting for us at the main exit of the labyrinth. In order to avoid them, we're taking a side route to get to a different exit some distance away. This exit, as it turns out, is a pit. Barsgath explains as we walk. There are a few giant holes in the labyrinth, which we call pits. Rumor has it that if ye go down into the hole, you'll reach the lower stratum, but hardly anyone's ever come back. What few survivors there are say there's an unthinkable amount of monsters down there. And they're always stronger than anything here in the upper stratum. There are still many mysteries surrounding the Great Elro Labyrinth. Even Barsgath is only familiar with the upper stratum. The lower stratum. I'd definitely rather not experience a danger zone like that. Anyway, one of these pits leads to the surface. It's a hole that was made by a legendary class monster who could well be called the ruler of this labyrinth, the Queen Taratect. Barsgath explains that around the time when we were still babies, the infamous nightmare came out of the labyrinth. And as if they were acting in concert, the Queen Taratect destroyed a huge chunk of bedrock to get outside as well. Then she went on a destructive rampage, demolishing forests and even smashing a mountain. Fortunately, there were no humans living there, so there were few casualties, but it's said that even to this day, you can clearly see remnants of the destruction. It's a bit hard to believe, but apparently it's all true. Imagining that power directed toward a human settlement sends chills down my spine. I guess it makes sense that even Barsgath would be traumatized by his encounter with the nightmare, since it's categorized on the same level as the Queen Taratect. If I ran into a creature like that, I might freeze up completely. Thing is, this pit is also home to monsters called fingicoats. They're giant bees, and they've made their nest there. They're not much trouble on their own, but their real strength lies in numbers. And you have to fight 'em while climbing up a vertical wall. It's why it's rarely used as an exit. That makes sense. Just like the entrance being in the water dragon's territory, there's got to be a pretty good reason no one uses it. Still, we've got Faye on our side. If we ride on her back, we can blast our way through a whole swarm of monsters. So we're counting on you. Sure. But first, please face the other way. Near the entrance to the pit, we turn our backs on Faye and wait. Behind us is the rustling sound of Faye taking off her clothes. Since she's returning to her dragon form, if she didn't take her clothes off, they'd get ripped to shreds when she got bigger. But of course, there are no changing rooms in a labyrinth. That's why we have to look away while she strips down to transform. However, no one said we couldn't listen. Catching on to me somehow, Katia promptly blocks my ears. I'm a healthy young man, you know. You could at least let me hear it. But I have a feeling I'd get yelled at for saying that, so I keep it to myself. Sorry for the wait. Faye's voice reaches my mind through telepathy. Turning around, we're greeted by Faye in her dragon form. Right away, we get on her back. Now that I've seen her in human form, it occurs to me that Faye is a girl. Which means that I'm on a girl's back. It never bothered me before, but now that I'm aware of it, I can't help feeling awkward. Get your mind out of the gutter, will you? Consider our current situation. Again reading my thoughts, Katia hits the nail on the head. I mean, she's right, of course. But I wasn't trying to mess around or anything. A young man can't help it if certain things preoccupy his mind at times. Could you not have a lover's quarrel on my back, please? I will shake you off. I'm sorry. Faye sounds particularly disgusted. I refocus on the matter at hand and let Faye fly. As soon as we enter the pit, countless bees fly at us. They really are giant, too. But as far as I can tell from appraisal, their stats aren't all that high. Faye fends them off easily with just her claws and tail. The rest of us use magic to shoot down the bees buzzing around us. They're certainly not much of a threat. But the sheer number makes them pretty annoying. Oh, enough already. Faye seems to feel the same way. With an irritated cry, she opens her mouth wide. Then a breath attack fires from her mouth, reducing all of the bees around us to cinders. It probably isn't as powerful as the Queen Taratect's attack that broke through the rock ceiling, but by the time the breath is over, the bees' numbers have very visibly decreased. Now let's get out of here. With the bees gone, Faye ascends through the pit. Before long, the rock surface all around us vanishes, replaced by a big blue sky. Finally, we're outside again. After so many days, the light of the sun is so bright that I have to squint. We've succeeded in getting out of the Great Elro Labyrinth. Chapter 6: Guerrilla Warfare. I've been in the middle stratum for several days now. Time to solidify my plans. First off, I'm definitely not gonna be dumb enough to attack Mother head-on. Even with my evolution and my new immortality skill, I simply don't think I can beat her. Her stats are so overwhelmingly better than mine that even a zombie attack wouldn't do much. In which case, the smart choice would be to wait until my parallel minds take care of things. Besides, I distinctly heard Dee say this. I'm rooting for you to defeat her, you know. I hope you'll survive and keep entertaining me. Survive. Dee knew I'd just acquired the immortality skill but still used the word survive. That means that even with the immortality skill, it's not impossible to die. There must be some kind of loophole to kill someone even if they have the immortality skill. Otherwise, I don't think Dee would have phrased it that way. For one thing, I could still get sealed away forever. I'd rather not get trapped in concrete for eternity or something like that. I should probably just think of immortality as a last resort. In which case, the next problem I have to deal with is that puppet spider. But I don't think I can beat that thing in a head-to-head battle, either. Maybe I could try to take advantage of its weaknesses or something, like I did with Araba, but my odds of winning still wouldn't be very high. Let's put that off for now. I'll avoid Mother and the puppet spider and set my sights on the rest of the spider army instead. Specifically, I'll hide away in the upper stratum, wait for my chance, and destroy them one by one. It's guerrilla warfare. I guess it's possible that there's more than one of those awful puppet spiders, but as long as I make sure to teleport away the second things get dicey, I'm hoping that I'll manage somehow. In the end, I'm really just buying time with half-hearted attacks until my parallel minds can beat Mother. I'm counting on you, parallel minds. I'd better flee from the middle stratum now that danger is approaching. Yep. She's still pretty far away, but Mother has entered the middle stratum. That means I can't stay here any longer. Otherwise, I would have just hidden in the middle stratum for as long as it took. But Mother won't let me get away with that. She's like a devoted mom, really, forcing her shut-in daughter to get out of the house. All right, Mother. I'll go out for a little bit. Now I'm up in the upper stratum. Hey, US. It's been a while. Is it me, or has this place changed a bit since the last time I was here? Specifically, the huge number of spider monsters crawling all over the place. Mother must have laid eggs up here. She has an egg-laying skill, which does exactly what it sounds like it would do. She can produce children all by herself, with monogenetic reproduction. I'm sure that's how I was born, 2. Normally, these baby spiders would go around eating one another or getting eaten by other monsters. This time, however, Mother's control has united all of them to chase after me. She probably doesn't expect them to be able to kill me, but she can use them to figure out where I've appeared. I might as well take her up on that. You really think you can catch up with me when I can use teleport? Let the spider hunt begin. I'm not afraid of some puny newborn lesser Taratects. In fact, they'll probably die on their own even if I don't do anything. They're ridiculously weak, just like I used to be. Way too weak. So weak that, I almost feel kinda bad. I don't know how many of them are born in a single round of egg laying, but how many could possibly survive long enough to evolve? 1 or 2? Maybe even none at all? That means my odds of survival were probably less than 1%, and somehow I still made it. That said, since I got a reincarnation bonus in the form of the Skanda skill, I don't think it's really the same. Wow. Thinking about how hard I struggled back then is making me sorta sad. It's enough to make me feel a bit of sympathy for my little brothers and sisters or whatever. But oh well, that's survival of the fittest for you. Better shake it off and get slaughtering. Huh? Cruel. Come on, I don't have any other choice. As I dispose of the small lesser Taratects in huge swaths, some adult Taratects hear the commotion and come running. I finish them off with equal ease. Sure, an adult Taratect gets a big jump in stats, but that's nothing to me now. Only a greater class or above can compete with me at this point. Even then, a greater wouldn't beat me unless some kind of miracle occurred. Sure, I was shocked when I first saw a greater Taratect in the lower stratum, but now the only thing that's shocking is how much stronger I am than them, if I do say so myself. Continuing the massacre as I reflect on these thoughts, my detection warns me of something rapidly approaching. It's moving at a very high speed and seems to be about the size of a human, no doubt about it. It's the puppet spider. The second I sense this, I flee in the opposite direction while whipping up a teleport rune. Then I teleport away before it can catch up to me. The scenery around me warps, and now I'm outside, where Mother almost killed me. If I just stay in the labyrinth, I'll probably run out of places to hide eventually. I might as well take this chance to expand my range outside a little, which has the added bonus of increasing my number of potential teleport spots. I wander around outside for a while as I wait for things to cool down in the labyrinth. Then, after a day or so, I teleport back into the upper stratum and get back to spider hunting. Rinse and repeat. After several days of this routine, my spider hunt is coming along nicely. I've bagged 1 arch and 6 graters and racked up countless other, lesser kills in the process. I'm particularly proud that I was able to beat even 1 arch. I might talk big, but arcs are still a pretty powerful enemy. I can manage a single one well enough, but if there are 2 or more, my chances of winning drop like a stone. I don't know how many other arcs there are altogether, but being able to take even 1 out of the equation is a pretty big deal. Also, judging by the way the puppet spider keeps coming after me, I'm pretty sure there's only 1. It seems to be the same individual every time, and I'm sure Mother wouldn't hold back in this situation, so that makes me think that it's probably the only one she has. Of course, even that could be one of Mother's tricks. It's possible that a second one will appear when I least expect it or something. If that happens, well, I guess I'll just accept defeat. I mean, I don't think she'd be able to make a second one appear with such perfect timing, nor do I think a second one exists in the first place. But even with just the one, all I can do right now is run away from it. Sure, my levels have gone up a few times during my spider hunt, but that's not enough to close the huge gap between our stats. Maybe if I beat Mother, it'll give up on trying to chase me around, but I probably shouldn't bank on that. If anything, it might get extra vengeful if I beat her, and it'd come after me twice as hard. If that happens, I'll have to deal with it somehow, but nothing comes to mind at the moment. For the time being, I guess I just have to keep avoiding Mother and the puppet spider and keep reducing the rest of her ranks. So that's the latest in the labyrinth. Meanwhile, outside, I've arrived at the ocean. I'm traveling next to it right now, though I've yet to come across any human villages or anything. I'm guessing I'll find some kind of port or fishing village eventually if I keep traveling along the beach, but I'm not sure what to do if that happens. I guess I'll probably just avoid it and keep moving. Also, I still can't get in contact with my parallel minds. But I can still feel the connection, so I don't think they've been done in or anything. I just have to believe that they're hard at work over there. If they can defeat Mother, my situation will improve considerably. Until then, I just have to keep whittling away at her forces and make sure I don't get killed. If I keep buying time like this, I'm sure I'll beat Mother eventually. For now, everything's going according to plan. Yep, things are looking up. Even if worse comes to worst, I still have my insurance in the form of immortality. I was careless. At the time, I thought I was staying on guard, but now I think I should have been more vigilant. Back then, I had no idea. When Dee mentioned defeating her, I just assumed that was referring to Mother. I never even imagined that it was someone else entirely, and that she was already hot on my trail. Side Story 6: The Dark Secrets of the Other World. Thank you for everything. We bow our heads to Barsgath. After leaving the Great Elro Labyrinth, we stayed overnight at Barsgath's base. And now, early in the morning, we're leaving for the elf village. This is where we part ways with Barsgath. Don't mention it. Barsgath nods. Are ye sure I can take all the Earth Dragon parts, though? They'll sell for a fortune, you know. Of course. We can't afford to bring anything that would slow us down anyway. Think of it as our thanks for all your help. Well, all right, then, the guide says with a grin. Mr. Barsgath. Would you perhaps? I'm just a simple guide, boy. Barsgath responds before I can even finish speaking. He seems to know what I was about to say. Barsgath is a seasoned warrior. That became very clear in our time in the Great Elro Labyrinth. Moreover, he has incredibly good judgment thanks to his abundance of experience. To be honest, I wanted him to come with us. But Barsgath promptly declined. A guide's job is just that, to guide people. Besides, I've already retired. There's no need for an old man like me to stick my nose where it don't belong anymore. He chuckles a little, but then his face grows serious again. Boy. This is just a gut feelin', but I think something big's gonna happen soon. I got no proof, of course. But that fear's been hanging over me for the past few years now. This mess you're caught up in now might be a harbinger of things to come. That makes sense. It's not just what's happening with Hugo. The massive war with the demons. The hero title being passed on to someone new. There's been a lot going on with the world lately. I just hope that guiding ye all here has made the world even a little bit better. Then I'll feel like I've done my part and then some. Barsgath holds out his hand. We'll do our very best to make sure that happens. I grasp his hand tightly for a firm handshake. My job is just navigating the labyrinth. But I think your job is much bigger, boy. Good luck. These words encourage me a great deal. After parting ways with Barsgath, we continue on our journey to the elf village. Riding on Faye's back, it'll take about 2 days. We've arrived at a town on the edge of a region called Sariella. Before we enter, Faye turns back into human form and dons a loose cloak to cover her wings. This is on top of wrapping them around her body, too. Otherwise, her wings would draw attention. This might be a fantasy world, but there aren't any races like beastfolk or anything. Which means there's no humanoid species that has wings. I've imagined that if anyone were to catch sight of her wings under her cloak, they'd probably be either curious or suspicious. But apparently, the situation is more serious than I thought. The people of Sariella all worship the goddess. And in the legends, the goddess has white wings. Who knows what they would do if they saw Faye's wings? According to Ms. Oka, in the worst-case scenario, they might even attack her for falsely impersonating the goddess. It's more likely that they would do the opposite, namely, try to worship her, but our teacher doesn't want to take any chances. Since people in this region fervently believe in the goddess, they have a unique way of thinking. Because of that, their relationship with the followers of the Word of God is rocky, to the point where they've waged war on one another in the past. I myself don't subscribe to the Word of God religion, but they've been in charge of the hero for generations. If they found out that I'm the new hero, I might get dragged into unnecessary conflict. So it's best if we avoid standing out as much as possible. I hate to put Faye through that kind of discomfort, but it's our only option while we're in this region. Because knowing what I know, I can't help but feel that all of this world's religions are extremely shady. This world was essentially created as part of a game among gods. This was the day before we left for the elf village. With that introduction, Ms. Oka launched into an explanation. First of all, since we're bringing Herinz and Anna to the elf village, I would like to tell them about our true nature. Is that all right with you, Shun and Katia? What she meant was that she was planning to tell them that we're all reincarnations. I nodded right away, but Katia seemed less convinced. May I ask whether that is connected to the elf village? Yes. I'll do my best to explain why. Ms. Oka nodded firmly. After thinking for a moment, Katia nodded as well. Shun, Katia, Faye, and I are all reincarnations. We were born with memories of our lives in another world. At first, Herinz and Anna just looked confused. Fortunately, though, the concept of reincarnation does exist in this world, so they accepted it with more explanation. I guess that does explain a few things, Herinz said at last. But, Ms. Oka, was it? What does that have to do with what we were discussing before? It's related to the elves' predictions and my desires, Ms. Oka responded. First, as I've already told Shun, the elves have been looking after the reincarnations for some time. The reason is a combination of what the elves have predicted and what I implored them to do. Naturally, my desire is to make sure all the reincarnations are safe. As you all know, this world is very dangerous, full of monsters and even hostile demons. The world we came from was peaceful, so none of us are accustomed to fighting. That's what makes it so difficult for reincarnations to get by in this world. I've been protecting them by taking them to live in safety in the elf village. That couldn't have been as easy as she made it sound. Searching the world for reincarnations, without a single clue to go on. And as she said herself, this world is a dangerous one. When I was still just a child, Ms. Oka was bustling all over the world, gathering the reincarnations. I was sure that journey was harder than I could imagine. If anything, our teacher's excellent magical ability is proof of that. However, the elves' plan was slightly different. They want to make sure that certain powerful beings cannot use the reincarnations for their own ends. These beings are called administrators, but you could also call them gods. That put things on a much larger scale all of a sudden, but I guessed that it had to do with her statement about this world being a game among gods. This may seem sudden, but let me ask you all a question. What do you think status is? It represents our strength, right? That's correct. But why do you think such a thing exists? Well, because the Word of God made it that way. Herinz answered Ms. Oka's questions naturally. But Katia and I realized the meaning behind her words. People who were born in this world would probably never question it. Not status, or the Word of God, or any of it. It's just something that's existed for them since the moment they were born. But we reincarnations know of a world where this status doesn't exist. To us, having stats and such does seem strange. That's right. Status was indeed created by a god. Now, do you know why that god created it? For that, Herinz didn't have an answer. In the world we came from, we didn't hear any word of God. There were no levels, stats, or skills, either. If you worked hard, you could certainly increase your abilities, but not in any form that was visible as a numeric value. For us reincarnations, having levels, stats, skills, and so on is very unusual indeed. Herinz seemed surprised at Ms. Oka's words. He'd always taken their existence for granted, so it never seemed unusual to him. By all rights, levels, skills, and stats are not necessary for a world to exist. The world we came from functioned perfectly without them, so it's plain to see that much. Right. On Earth, we lived without those things just fine. I was starting to get a faint inkling of why Ms. Oka brought up this subject. Basically, these administrators created levels, stats, skills, and the like for a particular purpose. That was probably what she was getting at. Ms. Oka, what was the god's goal in creating all this? To get people to fight. Clearly, Katia had come to a similar conclusion. In fact, she'd gotten a step further than I had. To make people fight. That hadn't occurred to me. But now that she mentioned it, I realized that all the skills in this world were battle-related. As if to encourage people to fight. That's right. In this world, the more you fight, the more your levels, stats, and skills improve. And if you lose a fight, you die. The more battles there are, the more deaths there are. That made sense. Lots of battles meant lots of casualties. But I couldn't figure out why she was explaining something so obvious. And when a living thing dies, the power it's built up until then is collected by the administrators. Now that information was shocking. Rationally, from what she'd said so far, it made sense that this would be the reason the administrators created levels, stats, and so on. However, the whole thing was so absurd that I could scarcely believe it. The administrators force people to fight in order to gain more power for themselves. That is why humans and demons are pitted against each other. And why they have designated representatives in the form of the hero and the demon lord. To be honest, when I heard that Shun had become the hero, my vision went dark. When she turned the subject toward me, I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. The hero was a representative of humans, chosen by the administrators. And a part of their plan to force humans and demons to fight? Ms. Oka, how credible is all this information? It made sense that Katia would ask that question. Her story was consistent, but given its almost fairy tale-like nature, it was possible that it was exaggerated or even made up entirely. It has been passed down among the elves since ancient times. Does that mean it's true, though? I couldn't blame Katia for sounding increasingly alarmed and annoyed, either. Just because the elves had believed it for a long time didn't necessarily mean that it was true. Frankly, I don't know for sure whether all of this is true, either. However, I can confirm that the beings called administrators are real. I've seen one of their subordinates with my own eyes. Besides, the elves believe this quite seriously, to the extent that they'll endanger themselves to secure the reincarnations. If Ms. Oka saw one of the administrators' subordinates, then I was sure administrators actually existed. But what did this story have to do with the elves' desire to secure the reincarnations? Before I could ask, Ms. Oka was already explaining. We reincarnations have powerful skills and a large amount of skill points from birth. If used well, they can become very strong indeed. Like us, for example. Ms. Oka looked pointedly at Katia and me. Katia, Faye, who wasn't with us at the time, and I have certainly all had skills and excess skill points since we were born. We're living proof that these advantages can help us get stronger much more quickly than the people around us. And when one of us dies, the administrators steal all that power. The elves fear that, so they do not want the reincarnations to gain so much power. So we've been gathering the reincarnations and keeping them isolated so that they don't train up their skills and stats. Why were the elves so desperate to keep the administrators from gaining power? Desperate enough to gather reincarnations from all over the world. In that case, wouldn't it be better to dispose of the lot of us before we get too powerful? Katia's question made my breath catch in my throat. It wouldn't be too surprising for things to take that turn, from what we'd heard before. In fact, it would seem only natural. From what our teacher had explained so far, the elves considered these administrators enemies. If they were that concerned about reincarnations getting too powerful, simply getting rid of them before they got the chance would be much easier than quarantining and monitoring them. But until Katia spoke up, That possibility hadn't even occurred to me. Not to worry. Patimas, the elves' chief, had the final say that the reincarnations should be kept alive. Although even I don't know why he decided that. Sophia killed Patimas when we fled the capital. He'd been staying in the kingdom as a friendship ambassador of the elves for a while, but I'd never heard until then that he was also their chief. From what Ms. Oka said, I guess that meant he had a lot of power. He chose to keep the reincarnations alive, but since he was now dead, we'd never know his motives. I'm sure that Patimas had some plans of his own. He was a very analytical person, so I doubt he would have chosen to spare the reincarnations' lives out of sheer kindness. It sounded like Ms. Oka must have known Patimas pretty well. That would make sense. He was her father. Shun, please don't make that face. Yes, Patimas was my father, but we hardly had a familial relationship. He and I were simply using each other and nothing more. So though it may sound heartless, I'm not too broken up about his death. I wondered what kind of face I was making. Despite her tight smile, Ms. Oka looked upset to me. To return to the matter at hand, the elves' aim is to overthrow the administrators. To that end, they intended to stop the war between humans and demons, then mediate a better relationship between the two races. Without war, people won't fight, and they won't need to raise their skills and stats. Which means that the power the administrators gain would also be weakened. That may sound like a drawn-out plan to humans, but since elves live much longer, they have the time and patience to carry it out. In fact, I'm told that they were able to stop the battle between the previous hero and demon lord in that way. But the story doesn't end there. Eventually, however, both of them disappeared. The elves suspect it was the work of the administrators. And now, the current demon lord seems to be working with them. Otherwise, there would be no reason to instigate such a large-scale war. I'll never forget Harins's expression in that moment. It was part anger, part suffering, part something that I couldn't quite place. Harins fought in that very war. And all his comrades, including Julius, were slain before his eyes. Learning that it was simply for some administrators to gain more power must have been hard to swallow. Even I couldn't accept that my brother was killed for such a futile reason. I don't want to believe that Ms. Oka's story is true. I mean, how could it be? My older brother wished for world peace more than anyone. But if what Ms. Oka says is true, then his role as the hero was to lead humanity into war. He only took up his sword to put an end to the fighting. But according to Ms. Oka, he did the exact opposite. He was playing right into the hands of the administrators by taking part in the war. I won't forgive them. I can't. They might as well exist just to trample on my brother's beliefs. If all this is true, then I can't just let the administrators get away with it. I'm sure Harins feels the exact same way. That would explain his dark expression. When I wasn't at the academy, I was away helping the elves try to avert the war. No matter what their reasons, I still owe them a great debt for protecting the reincarnations. But all those efforts were in vain, for the war has already started. So that's why you were gone so often. Ms. Oka rarely showed up in class at the academy. And now we know why. She wouldn't tell us specifically what she was doing, but knowing her, it was because she didn't want us to know what she'd been through. I believe that the administrators figured out what the elves were doing. They disposed of the demon that was secretly working with the elves. And most likely, their goal in recent events was to take out Patimas, as well as the humans who were allied with the elves, like Shun's father and Leston. Wait a minute. Wasn't Hugo responsible for all that? Ms. Oka's phrasing seemed to indicate that the administrators were behind everything that happened recently. Clearly, that was no mistake. This doesn't change what Hugo did, but I think he's most likely being used. The fact that Sophia was with him is proof of that. Sophia. The girl who outmatched us so easily. Ms. Oka took a deep breath and revealed the truth. Her name is Sophia Keren. And in her previous life, she was Shuko Nagashi. She is one of the reincarnations who has sided with the administrators. Interlude. God's hunting dog. A beautiful young woman gazes at the ever-changing landscape outside the carriage with an expression steeped in melancholy. Sitting directly across from me, Sophia Keren is so beautiful that even a fellow woman like me could be tempted to stare. Although she's still fairly young, something about her alluring visage makes her seem more mature. She's literally a femme fatale, and she looks the part, too. It's hard to believe that we're the same age. However, what most people don't know is that she can actually be very childish. Her personality is incredibly selfish, to the point where everything she does is solely for her own amusement. Perhaps she inherited this trait from Master. Even now, though she looks dramatic as she stares longingly out the window, I'm sure all she's thinking about is how bored she is. Sophia is selfish and freewheeling and never thinks things through. However, she also happens to be incredibly powerful. In a word, I think she can only be described as a menace. As if reading my thoughts, Sophia turns to look at me. What is it? I ask evenly. I'm bored. I guess she wasn't reading my thoughts, then. Still, what does she expect me to do about her boredom? Just be patient, please. Ugh. If I knew it was going to take this long, I could have just run there myself. Feel free to do so now, if you wish. Her face twists into an obvious grimace at my curt remark. So childish. The idea that running would be faster than the carriage is childish in itself, too. Unbelievable. Currently, we are traveling with the advance guard of Prince Hugo's Imperial Army. Though we are essentially honored guests, we are still commanders, progressing along with the troops. Why in the world would she suggest that running would be faster? We must keep pace with the rest of the army. Yes, I'm sure she could move faster on her own. But even if she got there early, she would just be stuck waiting for the rest of the army to catch up, so she would still be bored. Does she not even realize that? You really hate me, don't you? Of course I do. Why ask such an obvious question? Her face grows only more sullen at my response. The fact that her childish personality prevents her from recognizing the position I'm in only frustrates me more. Though I suppose I could still be doing a better job of controlling my emotions myself. I do my best to keep things from showing on my face, but I can't quite keep my bitter thoughts in check. I must be diligent. Perhaps that's the reason Master put me in charge of supervising her? No, I doubt even our Master would make a major decision like this for such a trivial reason. Please make an effort to be more serious. This is not a game, you realize. I know. But when I'm bored, I'm bored. So she doesn't actually realize that, then. Well, you must keep such complaints to yourself. How do you think the brave soldiers marching outside feel? While we get to ride in a carriage, the soldiers traveling with us are on foot. Some are riding on beast mounts, but most are foot soldiers, wearing heavy armor and carrying